look, whenever people give this presentation, they give the usual, well, you have to have a good team, and you have to have a great product, and you have to have good financials, and what's the other one? I have to have a great product. And then they go through all those things, which I find at this point maddening. Or else you wouldn't be here if you didn't think you could go after a good market. I mean, everybody thinks, as the gentleman before me said, everybody loves their product. That's a given. And so the question is, can you sell what the market wants? And we'll get to that in a moment. I'm so glad you said that, because everybody comes up to me and says, hey, what's the trick with venture capital or getting investors' money? Everybody wants to know what the trick is, right? So I will tell you what the trick is, but you got to promise not to tell anybody. Because no, I'm no longer one of them, right? So I can tell you the trick now. And the trick is, sell what the market wants. And guess what? The vast majority of people don't do that. They sell something they love. Isn't this great? I happen to have children, and they're the most beautiful children in the world, and I can get you started on all that. But you don't really want to hear it, do you? I certainly don't want to hear about your children.
Are you trying to sell them?
Everything at the right price. Yes, I am. You have children?
Yeah, and I'd be happy to give you.
Well, this is my own. It's a rhetorical question. So the point is I'd like to hit a few points that most people don't touch, which is, look, there's questions of distribution, milestones, assumptions, which is the crucial part of all of it. The backbone is not the product, the backbone are the assumptions and the deal. So I'll hit the usual things, but I want to hit a few other ones. So my view of pitch, a business plan, what's my thesis statement? First of all, the pitch itself, an elevator or what have you, even a business plan. And I don't write business plans in Word anymore. I haven't for years and years. And anybody who tells you to is a waste of your time. You can quote me. I don't write business plans. I've raised a B round, I'm raising a C round. I do not have a Word document that's 2 inches thick. My PowerPoint presentation is my business plan. That's how I do it. But go ahead and write your Word documents. That's up to you. But nevertheless, whether it's a business plan or a pitch, it's a hook. It has to tell a story. Each point, and here's a most important thesis statement, each point of greatness has to be countered with risk reduction, because most people look at their efforts as entrepreneurs as a great opportunity. Ron, I got a great opportunity for you. I'm sure you do. There are a million opportunities. Show me a good investment. So I'm defining what's the difference between an opportunity and an investment. Where the risk has been reduced. Where the risk is evident, transparent. I'll tell you what the risks are. I never tell anybody what the risks are. Instead, I just go ahead and reduce them. But that's what the difference is. People don't want opportunities. It's like having a new technology. I can go to Tony and I can give you 50 new technologies that are fantastic. Who the hell cares? Show me something that's going to make me money. Otherwise, I'll show you a nifty technology. So the point is here is, it can't just be a great opportunity. You have to convey how you've reduced substantial risk in the deal. You want to make the investor, on one hand, excited, and for my word, comfortable. Comfortable means, all right, I got a guy here, gal, I got a guy here who knows what he's doing. I'm comfortable working with this person. He's taking risk out of the deal. So you have to take the offensive on risk and needs, not the defensive, which is what most of us do as entrepreneurs. We take the defensive. We hide all of our assumptions, right? Why? Why don't you want to lay your assumptions out transparently? Why? You know why? Because you haven't talked to the marketplace. If you haven't talked to the marketplace, they're not good assumptions. If you have, then you're dying to lay them out there. This comes back to the gentleman before me. If you talk to the marketplace, your assumptions become evident and transparent. Entrepreneurs are too focused on the opportunity and not the investment. So another point that I'd like to hit is, who's all this for? And most people think it's for investors. Well, guess what? If you're in a startup, employees are investors. You're asking them probably to take a salary lower than they would if they were to go get an industry job, provided they can find an industry job nowadays. But that notwithstanding, the fact is you're going to probably say, look, your package is part cash and part equity. Therefore, by definition, an employee is an investor. That's part of the whole game that we play here in this startup capitalist business, isn't it? But the fact is and I teach entrepreneurial finance at BU and what have you, I don't teach my students about venture capital, because to me venture capital doesn't exist as a real entrepreneur. But your customers and your vendors, these are all investors, potentially. You can go to a customer and say, look, buy my product, but oh, by the way, can I pay you in 90 days instead of 30? What's another word for that? A loan. That's what that is, isn't it? It's also called customer financing. But why would they do that? Maybe a little bit of charm is helpful, but at the end of the day, if you have a good pitch, here's a couple of slides, here's what my business is all about, here's what I'm doing, Mr. Customer, Mr. Vendor, therefore can I have lenient terms? Okay, this is very promising. I'll do that for you because this is exciting, but you've done a good job of explaining it, because in the absence of that, charm is only going to get you so far. So banks don't exist either, forget about banks, so I say good luck. There is factoring. If you get, there's that old adage, that's a contract I can take to the bank, right? That's factoring. You have lessors of capital equipment, friends, family, and fools, right? I wrote here, this is a big landmine, but that's your business, whether you're going to take your family's money. Angels, a euphemism if I ever heard one. And VCs, do we all know what the V stands for? Vulture? So look, if you're going to come down to the pitch, to the business plan, it doesn't really matter. Remember, it's all a question of size, right? Size matters. So look, you got to grab the investor by describing the drama of the pain. This market is in pain. This comes back to the gentleman before me. Have you talked to the marketplace? Do you know what the marketplace wants, right? So, but you got to start with that. Don't start with how beautiful your children are and all that stuff. There's a great technology and I'm very smart because I went to MIT. I didn't go to MIT, but other people did. But they love to start with that. Harvard people always start with that, right? So the fact is you got to start with the drama of the pain in the marketplace. Now, do not say, for example, if you're in the green business, well, companies want to go green. No, no. The pain has to be quantitative. Somebody's either losing money or could be making more money. My pharma example, it's a reminder to me. This company that I'm in, HistoRx, the previous CEO once went to, I won't say the name of the pharma company. He went to a pharma company and he said, look, I can make more efficient your pharma pipeline. I can reduce your pharma pipeline such that you can, because we all read it's $1 million a day in the clinic, right? $1 million a day, I can reduce that. The guy said, I don't care. So the CEO, being an American, said, I'll repeat myself because that's what we do. So he repeated himself and said, I can reduce, save you $1 million a day. Guy said, I don't care. So he actually tried, he tried another time. Why do I tell the story? The fact is this guy in the pharma company had a budget. He didn't want his budget reduced. Budget is power. So this value proposition that the guy came in with was irrelevant to that customer. This had to do with what the gentleman before me called peeling back the onion. Who cares and why? What's the value proposition? Simply saving this guy $1 million a day, he didn't care because his budget was more important to him. So that's not the pain in the marketplace we figured out. So once you've told in your first slide the investor, oh my God, there's all this pain in the marketplace, and the investor's grabbing his heart and saying, oh my God, what are you going to do? You say, I'm like, I have the best solution, right? So now you're going to impress him with the solution to this problem. Now the investor is excited. So in the first slide, in the first 30 seconds, in the first 2 minutes, you've told the pain and you've told the solution. That you understand. What do they need? And that you understand it. Now you have to go out and qualify that and explain to them why you're right, but that's where you're starting.